Welcome to Eureka Street Crypto. This is my anti-professional crypto channel. I'm just a barely sane dude who fell down the cryptocurrency rabbit hole. This channel is my fumbling attempt to communicate myself outside my own head about my journey in the crypto space. It is basically my brain dump. None of this is actual financial advice. Good morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto, broadcasting live from Leander, Texas. It is, time is it? 6:39 on a Saturday morning, and I'm one of the only crazy asses that gets up in the morning with no reason to get up in the morning other than just to do stuff like this. So yeah, this is work, not work. Today I have and I dragged him up early in the morning. I won't docs where you are unless you want to. And should I go by your Discord handle, or how anonymous do you want to be?
Oh, I'm not anonymous at all. You can call me whatever. I'm in New Orleans. Mardi Gras is about to be happening here. I'm actually usually up this early anyway. I'm just not on camera yet. So
I appreciate you getting up this early with me. Yeah. I tell every week, this is not financial advice, and I'm not trying to shill anything, although I do talk about some projects I like, and which is fair, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how can you, that's actually the funny part, how do you try to talk about any of this stuff without mentioning something specific?
Exactly. Everybody tries too hard not to shill anything, but hey, man, I'm the shill master and the stuff I like. And this is not educational material. I'm not here to just do a step-by-step educational lesson. So if that's what you're looking for, you're probably in the wrong place. And yeah, this is my video blog. And then Anthony has jumped on here with me, and he, like he said, lives in New Orleans, and he's part of the Bankless DAO with me, and he's also in DAO Planet, and he's in a lot of other projects. The guy gets into a lot of stuff, and he does his own live stream too, which is pretty rad. And I've watched, I think, all your episodes now of your NFT live stream. Then you run a separate Aavegotchi live stream. You've been doing the Cuddle Club on Fridays. You've got a lot of stuff going on, and you're just an overall just experimenter with all things audio and visual. He's a motion graphic artist. He's a musician, and he's into NFTs, and he's real deep in the Aavegotchi and Polygon scenes. So if I had an applause button, I'd say, let's give it up for Zombie Shepard.
Well, I actually can't do animation. I do film editing, but not the actual motion graphics. Although your class, was very helpful.
Oh, was it? I just kind of felt I stumbled through there. I did a little class on the Bankless DAO. I'm in the Audio Visual Guild, and he's in the Audio Visual Guild with me, and we just kind of stumble through things sometimes and teach each other what we know. So it's just like a guild. It's a skill share, and that's what people in guilds do a lot of times. They band together to get their rights and to make their voice heard, and they also skill share, and that's the concept of a guild, right? Would you say?
Yeah. Neo's gonna do a Logic Pro, and I'm gonna follow it up with Ableton to kind of build on that. So
nice.
And yeah, I feel like there's only a few of us that really have like a lot of DAW experience in the AV Guild.
Yeah, I certainly did come in there with a ton of DAW experience, and by DAW we mean digital audio workspace for
Yes.
the noobs. Okay.
Yep.
And that includes things like Pro Tools, Final Cut Pro. It includes Cubase, PreSonus. What do you use?
I use Ableton mostly, but when I'm doing voiceover recordings, I learned a good audio trick was to record my voiceovers in Audition, in Adobe Audition. And then I would put all my like EQ, at least like a basic EQ and compression and that type of stuff on the voices in Audition. Because then it's just, you and the actor or you and yourself getting a voiceover. And that was a good way to get a great audio cut, and then take that into Ableton where I'm actually more comfortable playing around.
Oh, right on. Okay. So you came from a musical background into the crypto space, and you've been trying to apply a lot of those skills into what you're doing. You're contributing to the crypto space through creating content and explaining to people through that type of medium. And that's mainly where you feel comfortable.
Yeah, what's kind of funny is I guess I do like I'm not super comfortable talking in front of crowds and stuff like that, but I was a lead singer for bands for years. So I had to
Nice.
get that like
Yeah.
braggadocious attitude and get up there and be able to throw it out. So I guess, I can conjure it up when I need to.
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Like being on stage is totally different than sometimes just trying to speak up during a meeting, in
Mhm.
Discord.
Yeah.
It's,
I
it's
guess
very
to me,
different.
it's all kind of the same though. So it's really just like if I can talk to one person, I can probably talk to 10 people, you
Yeah.
know? And then also like starting out all this stuff because you can do a live stream and like there's literally nobody there. You're like, all right, well, I'm just
Yeah.
doing this from by myself anyway. So when people started showing up, it was almost a little weirder because then they would start chatting in the comments and
Hmm.
I would get distracted and
So
all of
let
a
me
sudden
ask
I'm
you
talking to
this.
somebody, who's halfway across the world who just happened to
Yeah.
pop in.
Yeah, definitely. You don't know what culture they're from or anything. Let me ask you this. You started just kind of, I've seen some of your earlier videos, and you started out with some pretty decent quality, but it's definitely improved throughout. So what do you, I guess, what would you say you've learned the most from starting to live stream? And you can
Um,
show your show too.
well, yeah, it's funny because in the beginning, like if you go to the very start of my channel, those were very complicated. Like that came from a more filmmaking perspective. So I've really had to learn a lot as far as going from, so, okay, to catch it up, like years ago, I was like in bands, and then bands started to kind of fall apart. There's not much money in the music industry. Like I got better on a computer and I started to go more that route of digital music. I started playing with more synths and stuff. So even back in the day when I was playing metal music, I was like, I always wanted to get into synthesizers, but it was so expensive. And now that it's all on my computer, I can just like do whatever I want and make noise. So I started doing that after my band days. I started doing a lot of like making noise and got into that. And that's when that's when I met my partner Gerline, who does all the animations. And that really got me into like score, which made me have to start to like think about music differently. And then like I had to do all the audio. So all of a sudden I was learning Foley and voice acting and voice recording and all these things. And it was just more and more skills. So the way I got into crypto was through NFTs because I was trying to like find a place to release my next album because I am still recording some like guitar based music. And I was like, I want to, but I just don't want to drop it on SoundCloud for it to die there.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I'm like, what do I do? What's it, and this was like this might have been the weekend of the Beeple thing because I literally was like, the Beeple thing happened and I was there and I was like, this is where music is going. Like I was
69
already
million.
looking past the whole NFT phase of JPEGs and stuff. I was just like, music will be here. This changes everything for music. And so then like getting into DAOs and everything, I was like, oh, I can make content. I know video stuff. I know audio stuff. Uh, and then it was like, no, you don't know crap because the first few videos I made, I was doing in filmmaker ways where I was recording my camera on my laptop. I was recording, or like with some of the videos where you see me off to the side, I was using another computer as like I have like a desktop and a laptop. So I had the desktop camera recording me so that I could do more intense things on the laptop and screen capture. And I was taking those into Final Cut Pro and editing it down. And it's just so really my whole process has been like, how do I eliminate editing? And that's like,
Yeah.
you told me some stuff about OBS. So I really got plugged in with this. And the more I've learned with OBS, I'm like, oh, I can create my entire edit right here. Like I'm really good with framing and all that stuff. So I'm like, well, if I just get in there and not screw up too much, I can get a video done in the time that it makes to take the video. Like, I don't have to do a whole lot of post processing. And I've always been about that. Even with music, I was like, the way I got into audio was because I was a singer in a band, but I went out and bought like a $600 mixer and speakers and a good like cassette recorder so that I could be the guy who also recorded all the music, because nobody else was thinking about that. You know, all the guys are showing up with their instrument playing. It's just like going out into the wind. I'm like,
yeah.
So I started
hey man, let's jam.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really like, I was the lead singer, but I was also, that's when I started being the producer.
That's rad. Yeah, yeah. You know, and New Orleans has its own whole scene of music. You're getting ready to do Mardi Gras, and yeah, so you guys have a good scene there. I'm from the Austin scene, and they're both music cities. Yeah, so
Yeah,
lots
like
of musical
Austin.
talent. But getting into the Web3 space, it's kind of it makes you stand out, and it makes it unique, I think, with the integration. Have you looked into Audius and some of the Web3 music platforms?
Yeah, definitely looking into a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I mean, Audius to me seems like they're going to be one of the top contenders. I run into a lot of these different sites, and I mean, obviously digging into things, like it's easy to run into a lot of different things. All right, Miss Alice. This is Miss Alice. She loves to get on camera. Like it'll never fail. If I'm on camera, Alice is just like, hey, I want to be on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've looked into Audius, and I've actually just finished or almost finished an Aavegotchi themed album. That's like it's like 9 synthesizer tracks that I've just really like jammed out, improv, and then cut into tracks.
Yeah.
And I want to release that soon. So I'm really looking into how to do that with the Web3 streaming. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you thinking about releasing them as NFTs?
I'm thinking about that as well. At this point, I have the 9 tracks almost like done audio wise, and I threw it out to a bunch of Aavegotchi guilds to see if any artists would bite and jump on and want to do, like, I was thinking I could do like one of one type of things where I do one track where I'm working with one guild and one track where I'm working with another guild. And it could be like a revenue split with that person or that guild or any kind of different cool business models. So I thought it would be cool to experiment with different NFT business models using these songs with different people. But so far, nobody has taken me up on it. But if not, I'm going to just work with my partner, Gerline, to do it.
Yeah. So. And I've seen you in the Bankless DAO working on the business side of a lot of things too. So you're creating music, you're doing the sound, and you're trying to do a lot of the business side of stuff, which is that's a whole other world over there. I'm definitely not that good at the business side of things. Do you see the business side being a help or a hindrance to the creative side of the NFT space?
I would definitely say, I mean, I can personally say that since I started working on like the short films and stuff, for instance, I do all of the business for Zemtimo. So I'm the one who's kind of, I'm submitting to festivals, I'm uploading everything, I'm archiving everything. I'm basically anything that's not the actual core animation, I'm doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, like negotiating pay though, and like how to know what to charge. That's something that artists have a hard thing with.
So yeah, I guess my short answer is that yes, it definitely distracts you from doing the work, because since I spend so much time doing business, I'm not playing music, for instance.
Yeah.
So
true.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Aavegotchi. So tell me a little bit more about Aavegotchi and the Aavegotchi world, and your involvement in it and why you like it. And I know that's a lot of questions.
Yeah. No, it's actually great questions, because it's really, when I first ran into it, it was early in my crypto days. Like when I first started, I was like, oh, what is it? Tamagotchis. I know what Tamagotchis are. Aavegotchi. And then I'm like, I was laughing about it at the time because I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I'm going to put my net worth into a JPEG ghost and play like it. And at this point, that's pretty much all it was when I first ran into it. So it is a play to earn game where you buy a portal, and that portal, when you open it, has 10 Aavegotchis in it, and you summon the one that you want based on the rarity or the traits that you desire, because there's like eye color, eye shape, energy, aggression, spookiness, brains. And, you know, it's like an RPG where all of these traits kind of make up what your character is. And the way you summon it is by putting in a certain amount of AM tokens, Aave-matic tokens. So it's on the Polygon network. And you don't have to do it like this now because you can just use a swap function with AM tokens. But you used to have to put you'd have to say like my Aavegotchi is a USDT Aavegotchi. So I would have to put USDT, the $25 of USDT into Aave, which would give me the AM USDT. Then I put that into the Aavegotchi to bring it to life. And so that makes this this JPEG ghost have intrinsic value. There is at least $25 in the piggy bank.
Yeah, so it's backed by something.
Right.
Has Aavegotchi always been on Polygon, or did it used to be on Ethereum?
It was on Ethereum. All the Haunt 1 gotchis are on Ethereum, and it was migrated to Polygon because of the petting. So just like a Tamagotchi, you have to pet it twice a day. And if you had to do that on Ethereum, you would be broke.
Yeah. So you have to pay for the gas when you pet it. And
right.
So
it's like
petting basically kind of
0.001
increases
matic.
the value.
No, it does get your normal whatever the USDT on Aave interest rate would be. That's also going into your ghost.
Okay.
So your collateral is growing, but the petting is just a petting function. So you're spending 0.001 matic every time you do that. My strategy for that is just to have a lot of matic sitting in Aave so that it's always growing faster than the rate at which I'm petting.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Do the math on it, you know?
I always say that Web3 and crypto is kind of like the most incredible game you can possibly think of, just all of it, because it's pretty much every discipline wrapped into one.
Yeah, it turns life into an RPG, you know, all of a sudden you know, and I was always good with budgets and you know, money, just like as far as not overspending and being good about that. So it works out that I had all those like saving skills and stuff, and now I can kind of learn to apply that in a more complicated arena. It's definitely more complicated when you're thinking about like APYs and fluctuating token prices and all these things. It's not straight math anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything's getting gamified. You know, for instance, I started playing Civilization a long time ago, and then I played Age of Empires, and all that kind of gamifies, and I can see how a lot of kids could learn about the world and geography and economics through those types of games, and has gone a step further, I think, in the crypto space. And then now you explain what you're explaining in Aavegotchi. It can provide an education in a lot of disciplines to a lot of people who may not have had access to that. So I want to hear a little bit more about your community involvement in Aavegotchi and what that's like, and what that whole Aavegotchi world of people is like. And aren't you getting ready to go to a community con there?
Yeah, I'm that's kind of cool too how that happened. So Aavegotchi's community is really friendly. The way, I mean, I got in on my own, just not thinking like anything about, like, when Haunt 2 came out on Polygon, there was going to be an auction, and this is really cool too. It's a GBM auction, so it's like every time you I think GBM might be the people who put it out. I'd have to do more research on that. But basically it's a bid to earn model where every time you bid on something, if you get outbid, you get back your original bid plus a percentage on top. So you're actually earning money every time you lose. So it gamifies even the auction phase of it, because now you almost want to get outbid so that you know what I mean? You could, if you did it, gamified it well enough, you could probably make back your initial investment and still win something.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. But
Is this only in the crypto space, or do people do auctions like that outside of the space?
I think this is a brand new crypto unlock, and I think that they have really only done it with a few projects, Aavegotchi being one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so Haunt 2 was starting, and it was like I was going to get in because I'm like, all right, well, even if I can't get an Aavegotchi, I'm going to like do this GBM. This is going to be cool when I'll get in, you know, some other way. So I just got in and I was like, all right, well, I was at that time just doing random crypto videos, like whatever I was doing. I was like, all right, I'm going to do a tutorial on this. And so I was like, I'm going to do some Aavegotchi auction updates. So I started recording all those videos. And then, like, trying to learn more, I started watching other people's YouTube videos. And that brought me into my first Aavegotchi guild, which was the Friend Zone. And everybody there, like, because that was 3D Slaps, his YouTube channel had a link to their Discord. So they were super friendly. And I just started like meeting, like I put an Aavegotchi as my profile picture on Twitter, and then like everybody started following me and talking to me. And so just as time progressed, I started like making more Aavegotchi videos and just doing my thing. And then a few weeks ago, I started going, I've always been going to the community calls, but I started like doing the OBS live stream, similar to how we do the Bankless community call. And I was just experimenting with OBS, and I was like, if I'm going to be sitting here doing this call, I might as well like play around and see what I can do. So I started live streaming it. And then like my first week, I was just playing around. The second week, the guy who normally does it, No Futuristic, he like had been out partying the night before and didn't make it. So nobody was going to record it. And I was like, I was in the crowd and I'm like, hey, I'm recording. And they were like, okay, cool, thanks. And then like later in the week, No Futuristic was like, hey, I can't do this anymore. It's like too early for me, because he was like getting up at 6 a.m. on the West Coast to be there, and it's like 8 a.m. for me, so it's a lot easier. So he was like, hey, you know, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then Coder Dan from Pixelcraft was like, I think Zombie Shepard did it last week. I jumped in and was like, hey, I'll do it. I got you.
Nice. Yeah, so that's a really good way to get involved into a DAO or some kind of, you know, Discord server or a project, is to just kind of just step up and fill a need like that. And yeah, you just started recording meetings.
Exactly.
People ask, how did I get involved? Take notes.
Just do something, and then, you know, like you say, like if you're standing around long enough, you pass you a broom, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, yeah, so all these communities like XRP has the XRP army, Chainlink has a Link Marines, but and the Bitcoin obviously has their maxis, but Aavegotchi has its own community. And like you said, people started following you because of your profile pic being a gotchi. But everybody's so friendly. No, there doesn't seem to be any tribalism in there.
Yeah, there's never any like anti-Axie talk or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I guess that's the counterpart, is the Axies versus the Aavegotchis, if there were to be one. But there doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
seem
if
to be
anything,
one.
Axie's the big dog and Aavegotchi's the upcomer. But you know, I think the market cap is considerably smaller.
Yeah,
Definitely a sleeping giant, in my eyes. Like, but that's because the game hasn't launched. You know, there's got a bunch of people who have Aavegotchis, and now we have our land parcels, but the world isn't open yet. So it's going to be crazy, because once the world opens, that's when the hype train is going to happen.
Okay, so yeah, so right now, as of right now, it's just been a way to kind of farm and to play around and to trade, kind of like trading cards in a way.
There's wearables. Yeah.
Wearables,
So
okay.
yeah, you can like dress your Aavegotchi. You can do things to change its traits. And then there's rarity farming, which is basically if your Aavegotchi is high up in your trait status in certain areas, then you get paid out Ghost every week for a set amount of time. I believe it's like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah.
And basically every week you'll get a new payment of Ghost
Oh, yeah.
for being
Cool.
an extra rare gotchi. And that comes out of the DAO treasury based on wearable sales. It's got a really good tokenomics. I'm not super intelligent and all that stuff. That's definitely a place that I need to grow. But
Tokenomics
it's
is hard.
definitely, yeah. But it's got a good flow of like taking money from sales and putting it back into the team building the game, as well as incentives for the community and the DAO to, for community initiatives, for rarity farming, for ambassador programs, and any other task force they may need to implement. There's like a wearables task force that tries to do a lot of crunching the numbers to see if like there's too many of different types of wearables or not enough. And, so even the wearables have a tokenomics as far as, trait status, for instance. So
yeah. Wow.
It's a lot to balance.
Yeah, that is a whole lot to balance, and it's a total game. So Aavegotchi is going live with an actual game, like you can actually play a game, and I know
That's
Axie
supposed to
Infinity
open
has
in
that.
April.
So wow,
Yeah,
that's I mean, it might be public knowledge, but that's alpha to a lot of people.
right. Yeah, if you don't know anything about it, like, yeah, there's this game that's about to be launching in April, and yeah, there's still ways to get in. You can still go to the bazaar and pick up gotchis and close portals, because a lot of people won these portals and never open them, because that's kind of a big thing. People will get together in large groups to open these portals and see the 10 Aavegotchis that get summoned. Yeah, it's a big deal.
In a Discord, like a live stream, and then everybody's looking at it, being like, pick that one.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like, yeah, community wallets and stuff. And sometimes they'll even raffle off portals. Like, there's a lot of different things going on in the community. So yeah, as of right now, it's just a way to build community and speculate on these NFTs. Lots of flipping going on.
Yeah. That's it's a whole other subculture, and that people, to me, it just kind of blows my mind learning about all this stuff. I mean, I had another crypto friend named CryptoFu introduced me to Aavegotchis, and this the whole idea of just petting your Aavegotchi. I was just stuck on that for the longest time. I was like, what? Because I never went through Tamagotchis. So
Right.
I was already like well deep in my 20s. But are there any other projects?
I was probably a little bit too old for mine, but I was in high school.
Fair enough. Yeah. Are there any other projects that you really have your eyes set on right now?
I mean, as far as DeFi, like, I'm really deep into Polygon. I'm like a Polygon advocate, and I work for the Polygon ecosystem DAO as a contributor there. So, and I do a lot of my videos on Polygon because of the low gas fees. I am on like Arbitrum. I want to get on to Optimism and some other stuff just to like be around, but I'm on Arbitrum. But I like do a lot on Polygon, and the fact that I'm doing Aavegotchi like really keeps me there, because that's where I'm like having a lot of fun. And
sure.
So that is kind of the gamified thing with crypto too, is like either you're trying to make money to take it back off to an exchange and cash it out for real world gains, or you're trying to find ways to use it in the ecosystem. And in that way, there's not a lot of reason for me to take my money off of Polygon, because I'm like having fun over here. So I'm just moving my money around. So yeah, I use Aave, Sushi, and Curve. I'm actually not in Sushi pools right now, but I'm using Aave and Curve mostly. I use Aave, obviously. I was actually originally doing a lot of borrowing when the Matic rewards were still going strong. I was actually
on Aave, right?
Yeah, there were large Matic rewards. So in order to even get into Aavegotchi, I had leveraged up on Aave and borrowed all the money I needed to win my Aavegotchi. So I was kind of like just going in debt, and then
degenning.
Oh yeah, I was being a total degen. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna use this crypto money to like, but it was cool though, because I was making like huge, almost paying me I was definitely not losing money because I was making
Yeah.
so much in the Matic rewards that I was essentially, because you can, so with Aave, it's really cool money Lego because you can borrow against your collateral. So my trick is to like, I'll borrow a collateral that is at a low interest rate, but you can reinsert that collateral right back into Aave. So if you have like $1,000, you can borrow 750, and then you can put that 750 right back into Aave, which gives you more collateral. And obviously you can't do that too many times because, you know, you're decreasing the amount you can borrow every time. So it becomes not worth it. But you can also, so you can do that to like borrow against yourself, but you can also say, you can borrow on Aave and then maybe put that into Curve where it has a higher interest rate on the same collateral. So now your interest rate on Curve is actually higher than the borrow rate on Aave.
Okay.
And at least at most times, it's a fluctuating interest rate, so it could not work out for you during market volatility when the borrow rate might jump to 10%, you know. But if it stays at like 2 or 3, and then like Curve is like riding at 3 or 4, then you're winning, and then you're still getting your Matic rewards. But I'm deleveraged now. Like now that everything's like, you know,
everything's pretty uncertain right now. I got to deleverage off of Aave as well. So Aave, you have, you know, a specific amount of cryptocurrency, and there's a bunch of different pools you can jump in. So you can either choose Ethereum or stable coins, or, you know,
now Ghost is on
Aave
there.
tokens. Yeah, the Ghost tokens. And you can put it in there, and then you can borrow against it. And so you said that you took it over to Curve. Now Curve only deals with stable coins, right?
No, Curve actually has a lot of different types of pools depending on the chain you're on. But on Polygon, they definitely have the two that I'm in. One is a 3 stable coin pool, which DAI, USDC, USDT. And you can just insert. What's cool there is it's kind of almost like a swap feature, because you can just take like all of your USDC and they'll split it in 3 for you. You don't have to have 3 different tokens to do the 3-way LP.
You just a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So you just deposit the one and it's in there. And then the other pool is it's the 3 stable coins plus Bitcoin and Ether. So in that one, you're taking some impermanent loss with the fluctuations between Bitcoin, Ether, and fiat.
So Curve has Bitcoin, but it's wrapped Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, wrapped Bitcoin. Yeah, well, on Polygon, it's all wrapped anyway. So wrapped Ether, wrapped Bitcoin.
Yeah, true. So what is the difference between Curve and Aave? I mean,
well, Curve for one doesn't do lending.
Okay.
They do not do lending. So Aave's big thing is single-sided. You know, it's almost like a bank account. You're putting in one token for one interest rate, and you can borrow against your collateral. But you can put in, like, at one point I had every token that they had, basically. I was like just LPing everywhere. And so I guess it's still technically liquidity providing, but you're not providing a swap liquidity. You're providing just one-sided borrow liquidity.
Okay.
And then in Curve, you're providing, I guess there you are providing more of a swap liquidity. I don't really understand how Curve connects to the broader ecosystem. I just know how I like it.
I mean, there's so many offshoots. They've created Convex and they've created Redacted, and it all uses these Curve pools. And that was just beyond my understanding, honestly.
But I'm taking my CRV tokens now so Aave recently implemented Matic. They implemented Ghost, Curve, I think maybe Sushi, and a few other things that they just implemented on Aave on Polygon and on mainnet too. But so now I'm taking all my CRV tokens and putting those in Aave.
Wow.
Getting interest rate on that and providing, letting people borrow that if they want to.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a skill kind of knowing, what to borrow at what percentages and what to put in that another place to earn that yield, and then to put it back into where you originally had it, and just kind of, continually to cycle it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because even with Aavegotchi, so I'm also doing like I'm staking with Aavegotchi. So I'm staking Ghost with Aavegotchi, which gets you back friends, and friends can be used for raffle tickets. You can buy raffle tickets with friends. Friends aren't they're not a currency, so you can't spend them any other way other than raffle tickets, but you can buy the raffle tickets and put those on the bazaar. But yeah, I'm doing that, and then there's like Ghost Matic, Ghost USDC, Ghost ETH pools. I'm in all those.
Wow.
And then some of those, you can take those LP tokens. I think it was Ghost ETH, for instance. You can take your Ghost ETH token, LP token, without removing it from Aavegotchi and put it into DinoSwap and get back Dino tokens. And so that's as far as like degen as I get, where I'm like, now I'm doing DinoSwap. I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
DinoSwap's getting pretty deep, you know. It's going to not quite the deep end, but it's out of the shallow end.
Well, it's definitely funny. Like somebody at work the other day asked me, they were like, "Oh, can I borrow $300?" I was like, "Dude, all my money is tied up in Dino tokens right now. You don't want to talk to me about money, man. I am not financial advice."
Yes, I've had that conversation a few times. Yeah. So can you real quickly before we wrapped up, explain to me a little bit about how the relation between Aave and Aavegotchi? And so is Aavegotchi a part of Aave?
Aave is definitely tied into Aavegotchi as far as I don't know if Stanny's tied in, but Mark Zeller is tied in. He's in the server. So there's definitely a large tie-in because, as I said before, like you have to use Aave tokens to summon your ghost. And now you can do that straight from the swap function on the Aavegotchi homepage. There's a swapper where you can do AM tokens straight from there. You could swap Ghost to AM tokens. So you don't really have to do that money Lego step of it anymore, but it is being done on the back end. So yeah, because if you're buying AM tokens, you're buying them from someone who is providing liquidity on Aave.
Okay. So that's a perfect example of the definition of composability, and that what has come in with DeFi 2.0 is the whole idea of using one completely unaffiliated protocol or project and then plugging it into yours. Because that's one of the amazing things about DeFi and Web3 that I love is this whole idea of just permissionlessness. Like it's okay for you to go over to Aave and to plug in some functions of Aave into a program that you want to create or a protocol that you want to create. And so they've spawned Aavegotchi from it, even though they're not the same company, right? I mean, okay, first of all, Aave is a lending platform, and then Aavegotchi is a gaming platform, and they've borrowed pieces. Yeah.
Aave, the word is what?
It's Ghost and Finish.
Yeah, there you go. Ghost and Finish. So they went on that ghost thing because the Aavegotchis are ghosts. They look like little ghosts. And actually, what's funny too is like Aavegotchis are supposed to be the souls of the people who've been liquidated in DeFi.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So,
that's
but
really
yeah,
cool,
actually going back to the AM token though, so you put your initial deposit of like, minus 25 USDT, but you can put more in, and anything above the 25 you can take out at any point. So it really is a piggy bank in that sense, and you can put your money in your Aavegotchi instead of putting it straight into Aave, and then you're getting back that same return.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to approach it. You have your specific strategy. I heard Crypto Foo's strategy on it, and he approaches it a different way. I need to get you two guys together to talk about some Aavegotchi
That'd be
stuff.
I mean,
get you on this show and then have y'all both just riff on it, and I'll just sit here and watch.
That'd be great.
But with respect to your time, I know you got a community call to prepare for. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh man, great to be here. I'll come back anytime.
Oh hell yeah, man. So yeah. Once again, how can people reach you, and what are some things that you want to show real quick?
Well, I am Zombie Shepard on every social platform you can think of. So yeah, if you look it up, you can find me there. Actually, I guess I kind of want to show my TikTok a bit because I have no followers there. And I think I'm going to
Oh.
make that my main Aavegotchi account. I'm trying to be a full-time Aavegotchi ambassador. So I've got to like get my community growing. So
TikTok. I'm not even on TikTok.
yeah, I kind of like, I mean, I like playing with different things. You know, me and my partner for Zim and Timo, we did an Instagram choose your adventure animation. And that was basically just me saying like, well, how can we do an animation that utilizes the features of Instagram? And it was like tying the stories into, like we would post an episode and then we would post an Instagram story that had a question that would affect the next episode. So that's how we did the choose your adventure. So I like playing with social media and like, well, what can this do? What can, like,
Yeah.
So that's where I am with TikTok right now, trying to figure out how I can use these interesting edits and inform people more about Aavegotchi and DeFi. I'm doing all crypto stuff on my TikTok, and I think so. I don't think I've done any music there. I'm trying to get my channels kind of separated and do things in a way that makes sense. So,
Sure.
but yeah,
Or it doesn't have to make sense.
Stuff on YouTube and TikTok, and my animation stuff you can find on Instagram or zimtimo.com. And my music is on SoundCloud. That is my name, Anthony Shepard, Anthony Shepard on SoundCloud. So I'm like fully doxxed. I am totally doxxed. Now everybody from Bankless that watches this is gonna be like, F, what is the F? Like that's the first time I've dropped the F on anybody.
Oh damn, drop the F-bomb. Yeah, it begs the question, what you're doing with all these different platforms is art creating the technology, or is technology creating the art? It's the whole chicken and egg argument.
Oh man, that's a whole philosophical question I get into with one of my friends who's a classical painter. He's so stuck on classical painting, and I'm like, man, you are stuck in 200 years ago. There's a reason we don't use film anymore.
Yeah, you're right. And then completely new art comes out of technology. I mean, I think Aavegotchi is art, the whole idea of it. So yeah,
music NFTs is where my mind is going. I'm not a dev, but I am definitely like, so I'm so into all these different communities that I'm hoping to meet my friend the dev who we click this, and I can drop all my music alpha on them and we can help build some awesome music projects, because that's my dream. Like,
yeah,
not just like, I love playing music, but it would be really great to like change, I love like Brian Eno, for instance. Like he has an app, that is like constantly evolving generative music.
Brian Eno?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Oh, Brian Eno, he's an old time musician. Like he was in
from the 80s.
Yeah, Brian Ferry. He was in the band with Brian Ferry.
Yes, of course. I was immediately thinking crypto.
He's done David Bowie work and stuff.
Yes,
no, I don't think Eno's in crypto, but he did a generative app. So I'm like, man, there's so many like cool ways you can unlock technology. So like with music, so crypto unlocking into music is the next step.
Wow.
And I have a notebook full of ideas. I've just drafted them. Like, oh, this would be so cool if you could do this. And I'm like, but I'm not a dev. So
yeah, man, we need to get our heads together. I'm telling you, I have the same process. Yeah, slowly things are coming to fruition, but it's not fast enough.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna hit it up, and thanks for coming on the show, and we'll do this again for sure. So,
definitely.
yeah.
Thanks for having me. You have a good day.
All right. Sayonara. Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. Thanks again.